Hey guys, how's it going? It is a gorgeous morning out. We are out here kind of early, a little later than we would like to be, but still early enough. It's a hot week. It's already a hot week. It's gonna be a hot week. Our forecast keeps messing up here, and we had one day that said like 120, and then we had one day that said 125. They've now corrected down to a cool 115 and 116 degrees. So, living the dream here. But it was a really good week. We did some garden tours. You guys got to see the last garden tour at Leslie Bennett's property that she had designed, and we did our garden tour. Janey came up one day, we went plant shopping, and then Jalen was here a couple days. She was actually here for like almost a week's time in total, helping us with like packing orders and helping film some random videos. So it was a really good week. It was kind of a blur of a week, but it was a lot of fun. So before we get into answering some questions, I've got 3 announcements. The first one is that Janey and I will be at Cultivate in Ohio, and we're hoping to run into some of you guys there. It should be a good time. We're going to be there Friday and Saturday for sure, possibly on Sunday also. So if you haven't already, check out buying tickets. You can pre-order tickets or you can buy tickets at the door. I recommend buying them in advance because they are a little bit cheaper if you buy them in advance. That's what I did. I bought mine maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point now, but it's gonna be a really good time. Janey's got a couple garden tours that she's gonna go do, and I'm just gonna kind of show Cultivate for what it is, and I think we're gonna go to a garden center, and I'll film that because who hates plant shopping? And then the next announcement is that we are going to be relaunching the metal plant tags. I have an order in for those, and I think I might have over ordered on these ones, just so that way I had enough. So I ordered a ton of them. There are, like, if you want like 5 or 6 of them, order 5 or 6. Everyone can have 5 or 6. There were a ton that I ordered. So there should be plenty this time. And those will be here hopefully in a week or 2. They probably won't go live till after I get back from Cultivate. And then we aren't going to be restocking any of the shirts. Once they've sold out, they're sold out, but we will be restocking the Not My Rooster hats. The shirts, the quantities that I have to order in the shirts is just too high. So it's a little hard. And so we're going to be reordering the Not My Rooster hats, and we will be reordering the plant tags. So keep an eye out for those. Those should be here in the next couple weeks. And then the last announcement is that we're going to be trying something out for future Q&As. We're going to be having sponsorships for Q&As. I've got 2 kind of lined up right now, and so there's none in this video, but for future ones, there's probably going to be some sponsorships that you guys are going to see. We're just going to kind of test it out. I'm excited about it because Q&As have been really hard to do, and so this is going to make it so that we can continue to answer questions and continue doing this. As you guys know, we're trying to get this to be our full-time jobs. Brent has actually quit his job and is now doing YouTube full-time, and I am only working 3 days at the barber shop. It's more like 2.5 days. But we're getting there. So doing some sponsorships in the Q&As, we're going to run it kind of as an experiment for a month and see how it goes. And if it goes well, we will continue to do them. So there'll be, 30 to 60 second long ads that we'll place in, and it'll still be me placing the ads. So yeah, just giving you guys a heads up that those are going to be showing up in some of the Q&As. So now with that, let's get into the videos that we did. We did the last week's Q&A, which is why don't I cut off the blooms on my Dusty Miller, plant shopping, breakfast, and laughs with Janey, propagating plants at the end of June, easy gardening with Jalen, the most unexpected harvest, and holding myself accountable, and a garden unlike the others. So it was a good week. There was a lot of stuff that happened. Some of those videos were filmed in advance, and that's kind of what's gonna happen for this week's videos that you guys are gonna see. A lot of these videos have already been filmed just so that way I could actually get out 5 videos, because it's gonna be really hot this week and it's kind of unsafe to film some videos. So I still have a few more to film, but these videos have been filmed probably 3 or 4 days in advance before you guys will actually see them. So on the first video, the first question on that video was from Christine, and she had said, did I miss the new plans announcement video in Janey's tour video? The plans for what we're going to be doing for this garden are going to be coming out. I think you guys have already seen it at the point of me filming this. I film Q&As on Saturdays, and she does her garden tours of other people's on Sundays. So you guys should have already seen what the plan was for our garden. If you haven't seen it, go over to her channel, check it out. It gives you not a drawing, it just tells you what the plan is for the garden, and we're going to be working on this fall and this winter time. We're taking a break with a lot of planting and a lot of projects over the summer. That is kind of our off season, where a lot of people, it's winter time, summer is our off season. So on her channel, I announced what the plan was. The next question on that video is from Janetta, and she had said, will you be restocking the Not My Rooster hats? I hope so. A hat or a shirt that has the "It's fine" would be awesome. Okay, so we will be restocking those. I just said that, but now I'm thinking, what if we made hats that say "It's fine"? Let me know in the comments down below, because that would be a hat that I would wear all the time. It's fine. That would be really funny. Let me know if you guys want hats that say "It's fine," or if you guys want something else that says "It's fine" that I can make happen. Shirts are really hard because I have to stock so much inventory on it, and now that we've done this, we know which sizes sell best. I will not be ordering mediums ever again for either of the shirts that we currently have. If there's something else that you guys want, let me know. The next question on that video is from Fancy, and she had said, are you going to give the neighbor's rooster anything to thank him for your sales? I didn't bring him anything, but I did bring the neighbors one of the hats that said "Not My Rooster," which is kind of funny because it's her rooster. So I did bring her something. And the next question on that video is from Taryn, and she had said, could you please share where you got the little fountain behind you? This one right here, we actually got it at the plant barn. It's from Campania. I will try to put a link online to it. I paid $100 and I think like $9 for it. I will try to put a link online where you can buy it from, but I don't guarantee that I will actually find a source of it. But it is from Campania, and I will put a link, if I can't find a source to buy it, to the Campania store. And the next question on that video is from Steph, and she said, congrats on the merchandise sales. Great job. Love all your photos on the website. Did you hire a photographer or Brent? They are awesome. That was actually all Jalen and I. We were out one evening and we got all of the photos done. My phone is like full from those photos. There are hundreds of them. And the ones that Jalen and I are in together, we put it up on a tripod, did a timer, and we would run back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to get the correct photo. So that was all Jalen and I on the iPhone. And the last question on that video is from True Crime Addict, and they had said, call me dumb, but where is your merch? I can't even find a website. Ugh, I totally missed it, but I couldn't find it Saturday. You are not dumb. You're not the only person. It is YouTube that has this problem. YouTube, it makes you hit, there's a little button that says more, and then you have to hit more again to get to the website. It is so dumb. So we're going to put it up on the screen. It is visitourgarden.blog. That is where all the merch is. There's still sizes in both the shirts. We still have the mauve hats. We took the candles off the website for now until it cools back down, because we can't ship candles when it's 112 degrees outside. That's not safe. Plant tags will be in stock soon, and hats with the Not My Rooster or It's Fine and or both will be back in stock soon also. And the next video that we did was the plant shopping breakfast and laughs with Janey, and the first question on that video was from Carol, and she had said, can you please include the Quiche Recipe bites? That is actually from Roots and Refuge. It is her recipe. I will put the link to her video where she had done it down below. We've been making this quiche recipe for 5 years now. For literally from whenever she posted it, we've been making these quiche bites. So she shows the recipe of how to make the entire quiche. We just turn them into bites. But a lot of times we just make the entire quiche. But when I make the bites, we just make a circle out of the pie crust and put it in a muffin tin instead. So I will link her video in the description down below, which is the other way. You gotta hit the more and then you gotta hit more again. Or you can go on YouTube and you can just search Roots and Refuge quiche and it should show up. The next question on that video was from Bev, and she had said, wait, what? You had to buy eggs? Don't your chickens lay eggs for you? You just put the biggest smile on all our faces, and I find myself laughing out loud at your insane antics. Yeah, I have to buy eggs. Our chickens are freeloaders. The only one that supplies eggs regularly is Mama. And we have one chicken that eats the eggs. So if we don't get out soon enough, the other chicken, it doesn't even eat the eggs. It cracks open the eggs and then walks away. So the nesting box will get full of eggs. I am so fed up with these chickens. I have a tie around one of its legs who I think the problem is. And that chicken's just gonna have to get on out of here because that's the one that was picking on Mama. And now I think it's eating the eggs. So yeah, we're buying eggs. It's the dream. The next question on that video is from Dee, and she had said, Robbie, where did you get the butter dish on the counter right in front of you where you were putting in strawberries, the spatula spoon on top? That is from Wally World. Good old Walmart. But I think it's like 5 years old at this point. I will try to find it and put a link in the description down below. But it's actually been like one of the best butter dishes we've owned. We've owned like 5 or 6 of them, and we continuously threw them away because they were such a pain. This one is so nice. And the last question on that video is from Anne, and she had said, you are each blessed to have garden friends and to have spouses like Brent and Jason. So much fun to watch the two of you together. How would you plan or design your garden if you had the space that Janey has? I probably wouldn't be as efficient as Janey is. I definitely would have to hire a landscape designer to help, just to get a lay of the land and just to kind of get things set out properly, and walkways. That is something that I get so blocked on, is walkways. I think, okay, walkways have to be this straight path and you just put plants around the edge of the garden, which is not the case and not what you want to do, which is what I do. And I get really stuck on things that are already there. So like, we had a walkway and we never used it. We hated it. It was in the worst spot possible. And then a landscape designer reached out and was like, hey, what if you moved your walkway over here? And we've done it, and it has been the best decision ever. So I just get so stuck on things that are already there. I can't see past it. So that's really hard for me. So I would definitely have to hire somebody. And like how she has that one long meandering walkway between the fruit trees, so stunning. I don't think I would change a single thing that she's done on her property. I just would want grass somewhere. Grass is such a hot topic, but I really love grass. I need somewhere that is like peaceful and grass. The next video that we did was propagating plants at the end of June, and the first question on that video was from a Beer Alley, and they had said, hi guys, thank you for the video. Do you have to use humidity domes for cuttings? You don't have to use humidity domes. You can use saran wrap. You could use like a plastic bag. I would definitely use something though to keep humidity in. Keeping those cuttings wet and not letting them dry out is so important. Until they get their roots established, they really need to be somewhere where the temperature is a little bit cooler, and they need to be somewhere where they can just stay wet, so that way they don't dry out. If they dry out at all, your cuttings will die. So keeping them wet is super important. Like I said, you could just use saran wrap if you so chose. When I first started doing cuttings, that's what I did. I would do some bamboo stakes in the like 4 corners, so that way I could have the saran wrap go over that. I would do like short little stakes. So that's what I would do, is I would just do 4 little stakes and then go and wrap those with saran wrap around the container. I'm gonna apologize now for the leaf blower. I live in like the suburbs of rural area, so you guys are probably gonna hear a leaf blower or people chatting or kids talking because it is the weekend. Also, you're gonna see me flinging this fan around. I go nowhere without this thing now, and she collapses and has 3 speeds. Best fan ever. I will also link this down below. The next question on my video is from Julie, and she had said, hi Robbie, love this propagation video. Will you be fertilizing these cuttings at any time? I will fertilize them in months. In probably like 6 months time, I will fertilize them. Right now, we're just focusing on root growth, so it's not even taking up any nutrients at all. It's just forcing this plant to grow roots. So there's no nutrients being taken up by the soil. If there's any growth that happens, that's only happening because of what's already stored inside the plant stem. So we got to make sure that it stays wet so it can continue to suck up water, but there's really not a whole lot of nutrients being pulled up by those plants at all. So probably in about 6 months time, that's when I will go ahead and I will start fertilizing. The next question on that video is from Fancy, and they had said, how often do you water the planted cuttings? Mine get watered almost daily because right now I do have them outside, so it gets hot. I was going to put them under the grow light, but we just have all the merchandise in the grow room, so they're getting a ton of water right now, but that's not true for everyone. If you're going to keep the humidity dome over them, they probably don't need to be watered every day, and mine are not getting a ton of water. They're just getting a little bit of water, like a tiny amount, just to make sure that the humidity stays up. I don't want these to dry out. You just don't want them to dry out. So it's really gonna be all like personal preference. If you're keeping them inside, which I really do recommend keeping them inside under grow lights, I would probably say that you might need to only water them once a week because it's gonna be cooler in your house. If you're keeping them outside, they probably need to be watered every day. I love to do bottom watering for everything that's in containers. So usually what I'll do is I fill that bottom tray up with a little bit of water, and once I see that water's completely disappeared, then I go ahead and I refill it back up. I really don't give too much time between drying out and between plants at all. The next question on that video is from Betty Boop, and they had said, "Good morning from rainy Kentucky. Question, maybe I missed it, but why do you cut some of the leaves in half?" The leaves get cut in half because the plant doesn't need to photosynthesize that much of the plant. It's just putting all of its energy into root growth. And if I were to leave leaves that were massive, it would have to keep that leaf alive that's that big. So I cut it in half, and then it just takes away the energy of having to keep an entire leaf alive. It only has to keep half of it alive. So that's why I do that. And I've seen lots of people who do propagations do the exact same thing. So if it's something big like a hydrangea, cut the leaves in half. And you only need to leave like 2 leaves, 3 leaves, maybe even 4. But things like lavender, I don't really cut those in half. I do just try to keep 2 to 4 leaves per plant on each cutting. That way it has the best luck. And the last question on that video is from Anne, and she had said, "Robbie, I have also propagated plants for years. Sometimes I place them in water instead of soil. I recently heard that it is illegal to propagate some plants. Question, is this true? If so, why? Is it like stealing? Does this pertain to all plants or just some plants?" I love to water propagate, first of all. I do that with coleus all the time. I love to water propagate coleus, which is basically you take plants, you stick them in water, and they grow roots. This year I did coleus from soil cuttings, or I did soil cuttings for my coleus, where I just like took pieces, dipped them directly in the soil, and had great success. But either way, it works fabulous. And then as far as propagating plants, there are certain plants that have patents on them, meaning that it is illegal for you to propagate them. And when I first started out and I heard about this, I thought, this is so stupid, absolutely ridiculous. Really, who owns a patent on a plant, and why can't I propagate a plant that I bought? After being in this industry and seeing what goes on behind the scenes of all of these plants, like when we went down to the Monrovia touring facility, I fully understand why there's a patent on plants. And it is not on all plants, it is just on certain plants. Patents have a lifetime on plants, so they have a certain amount of years. I think it's 30 years, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they get to keep a patent on the plants from the day that they send their submission into the patent office, and then it goes patent pending. So on plant tags, you'll either see PP, and then I think it's a number, which means patent pending, and they give them a patent pending number, and that means that that plant is now in the process of being patented and you cannot propagate it. You'll see a patent number on plants. Once they get the patent, then plants can't be propagated for X amount of years. And things like Supertunia Vista bubblegum, there are things like I think it's the Princess Lavender that we just put up in the front, and there's a whole bunch of other plants. There are a ton of plants that have patents on them. The only ones that I really propagate are ones that I 100% know for certain that are not patented, like Limelight Hydrangea. The patent ran out a couple years ago, so now it is free to propagate. The lavender that I propagated is just a very basic common lavender, so I propagated that one. There are a ton of plants that are out of patent. The Wasabi coleus is out of patent. So why that's important though is because so many of these companies spend millions of dollars on these plants to be able to build up enough stock, and then these plants will go through years and years of trial before they get released to the public. So let's say they cultivate a new plant, and so Supertunia Vista bubblegum came from a seed of one plant that they kept. So then they only had one Supertunia Vista bubblegum, and they trialed that. They took divisions of it and they made, let's say 10 or 15 plants. That was all in the course of 2 years now. First year was they got through the bubblegum. Second year they got 15 plants. The next year, let's say they got 100 plants out of those 15 plants. And those 100 plants, then they trialed and they said, okay, do these work? Now you're 3 years in and you haven't made a dime on these plants, and that continues to go. And then they have to all of a sudden take those 100 plants and they have to divide those into even more plants. So it takes years for these companies to get plants to be able to come out to the market and have enough stock for everyone to be able to get them. So I completely understand why that's a thing. Are they going to come and knock on the average home gardener for cutting one plant in half and making one plant 2 plants? Probably not. Could they technically? Yes, but this is more just to protect them from one company taking the plant and growing it also and having a faster production. A lot of times it's small little people who come up with these plants and they sell them to big companies, and then the big companies help divide and disperse them, and they don't want all of the years and energy to go and get sent out to everyone all at once the second that the plant hits the market, and then they lose all of the years that they weren't getting paid and somebody else just comes in and steals it. So that's kind of the main thing. So I totally understand it. At first I was like, this is stupid, why are plants patented? But now I truly understand it, and I do totally support the patent on plants. It's a 20-year patent that they get from the time of filing. There is a ton of information about it. The thing though is, so it takes 24 months from the date of filing that you file your patent. So it takes 2 years after you filed for a patent to get your patent, because over those 2 years, you have to show that you can reproduce that plant asexually, and it's something that would have never occurred in nature without you intervening. So that's why it's so complicated, is because it takes so many years for these plants to be able to come out to market, for them to get a patent, and for you to prove that it can just continue to be reproduced only with human intervention. And the next video that we did was easy gardening with Jalen, and that was so easy. It was actually a very short video. It was the shortest video we put out in a very long time, but it was really nice. I always love having Jalen in the garden with me and hanging out with her, so it was a real treat. The first question on that video was from Serena, and she had said, "Aloha, Robbie. How are the strawberries doing since you planted them?" They're actually doing really well. I did kill a few of them because they weren't hooked up onto irrigation, but the ones that are on irrigation have actually produced kind of a lot of strawberries. I wasn't expecting to get a single strawberry this year because we were well past strawberry season, but we did get strawberries, and we got like quite a few of them, like a good handful of strawberries. And then we're still getting some, but I am pulling them off because I want it just to send energy into the actual plant. So I am pulling them off while they're still young, because I don't want it this summer to continue to send energy into strawberries. I want it to send out some runners. And the next question on that video was from Serenity, and they had said, "I thought that you were putting grasses in between the apple trees." We are going to be doing that probably this fall time, maybe next springtime. By time I was able to even find any, it was a little too late in the season, and the one that I had growing had already like put on like a ton of growth, and I was like, this is just gonna look too weird for too long. And I just wasn't feeling it. And I think I might change what grasses that I put there. So that's why I want something that's more like columnar. These ones tend to be a little more vase shape. So I do want to put 3 grasses there, just to like add a little bit more to the formality touch. And the next question on that video is from Diane, and she had said, "Hi, love your videos. Question, I didn't catch the name of the tall plant that needs water, that needed water that you planted next to the fence, not the poker plant. I'm always looking for something tall." That is actually called Verbena bonariensis, and plant that one at your own risk. That one is a plant that people have strong opinions about because it self-seeds like crazy, and it does take over like crazy. I'm somebody who keeps up on weeding, so I don't let really a whole lot get out of control in my garden. But if you're somebody who probably falls behind on weeding, I probably wouldn't plant that one because it does take over, and it can be a thug in the garden. So just plant that one at your own risk. There are some people that have very strong opinions about that. And the last question on that video is from KP, and they had said, "Good morning. The pine looks nice, but is the pot rather on the smallish side?" It is a small container, and it'll probably only last in that container for maybe a year. So I don't expect it to stay very long in that container. I need to find a rolled rim that's a little bit bigger, but I had the rolled rim and I needed to get it out of its black container. So it's out of the black container, it's in terracotta, and it has drip. So that was the main reason that I did that. The next video that we did was the most unexpected harvest and holding myself accountable on a garden chore. That was the weirdest potato harvest. If you did not see that, you go check and see what those potatoes look like, because it was so weird. The first question on that video was from Carol, and she had said, "The potatoes look like little animal potatoes. Thanks for the giggles. Robbie, did you find out what kind they are or what happened to them in the development? And did they taste okay? Thanks for another fun video. I never miss watching yours." Okay, so we figured it out, and it's heat fluctuation is what happens. So we had a very, very hot spring. We had a cool winter, and then we had a very hot spring, and then we cooled back down, and then we got hot again. And then the water was irregular also, so we had water off for most of the spring, and we were just relying on rain. And then when we turned it on, it became more regular. So it threw the plants off having the fluctuation, and then also because they were in a black container. And this year I had planted them somewhere a little more sun. So that's what happened. It was just fluctuation of temperature and irregular watering is why that happened, but still totally safe to eat. We haven't tried them yet, so we'll see. I don't know, they kind of weirded me out a little bit. And the last question on that video is from Sandy, and she had said, "Hey, Mr. Not My Rooster." Question, Baker Creek Seed Co. has their garlic available for pre-sale. Yay. Can you please give us some suggestions? I totally want to try going garlic this fall. Your joy of garlic and potato harvest is the best. I love to grow garlic. It's my favorite. Looking at their website at the garlics that they have available, the only ones that I would probably order are the Early Italian Purple or the Chet's Italian. And then I would also probably order the German Red, but it says that it's out of stock. So those are the ones that I would go ahead and order. I've never tried any of the other ones, but reading the stats on them, those would probably be good ones. Or there's this one right here that's called the Vietnamese Purple. And it looks like all of these are 4 bulbs. And just to make sure you guys know what bulbs mean, it means the entire like bulb of garlic, not like individual cloves. So you're gonna get a ton. 4 is a lot. I picked mine up locally, and I picked mine up at the Rare Seed, their event that they put up in Ventura, California. I had gone to that, and that's where I got mine this last year. And one of the ones that I picked up was an Italian one, and so far it's been really good. I don't remember the other variety. And the last video that we did was a garden unlike the others, and that's where we went and toured Leslie's final garden that she designed, and it was so pretty. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous garden. It was unlike the other ones that she had designed, so it was really cool to be able to see that. The first question on that video was from Keely, and she had said, "Stunning, love the cypress. You need one, Robbie. Is this garden in the Bay Area too? When we have more property, I will have that cypress. It is so stunning. They look like little fern fronds. Super gorgeous, and it is in the Bay Area also. That one was like very deep into the Bay Area. It was the gardens that she designed were all Bay Area. It was magical. We toured all of them in like one day. It was a lot of work. The next question on that video is from Wooter Tutor, and they had said, "Hi Robbie, great video. Leslie is an amazing creator. Thanks for sharing. Question, at 8:30, you showed a flowering plant next to the apple tree with the transcription called Gravilla. Do you know what the plant's name actually is?" The plant was actually called a grevillea, and it's also known as a spider flower, not spider plant, spider flower, and it's native to Australia. It's higher zones only. I think it's zones like 7 through 10, I believe. And it does get pretty tall. They can get like up to 100 feet tall. So some of them stay shorter. There's a ton of different varieties. It says that there's 360 species of this flowering plant coming in multiple different colors and sizes. The next question on the video is from Green Granny, and she had said, "I just love this. Can we have more tours?" We will be doing more tours, maybe this next coming spring or something like that, or maybe a couple this summer when I can escape the heat, because I need to get out of here. But yes, there will definitely be more, and I think she's working on getting a couple up on her channel, so if you guys haven't already, check out her channel. It is the Pine House Edible Gardens on YouTube, which I will also link down below, and it was linked in those videos too. And the last question on that video is from Anne, and she had said, "How do pollinators get in the covered beds? I really like how they look." Great tour. The covered beds, it's actually really easy for bees to get in. And I know this is gonna be really gross, but flies are actually a really good pollinator. So like small flying bugs can totally get in there, no problem. And should they choose to just leave them open for a while, they could leave them open and get plenty enough pollination. So it looks like they're not having any issue with pollination at all. And pollinating doesn't have to happen for a lot of plants. It needs to happen for things like squashes and like cucumbers, which can also be done by hand with like a paintbrush, or you can go in and you can take the male flower and pollinate the female flowers by hand also. So it really shouldn't be a problem at all for pollinators to get in those beds with the wire. The wire is big enough that small pollinators should get in. All right, you guys, that is going to be it for this video. It was a good Q&A. We've got some good videos coming out this week, some that are going to be spread across a couple videos, but it's a really good project. It's an exciting project, one that has needed to happen for probably 3 or 4 months now, and of course I wait till it is so hot to do it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you guys as always for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.